If you guys remember having a childhood, you would remember there's a book series called Dr. Seuss. I remember used to love reading the books back when I was a kid. I used to borrow them from the library at school or even at the library that I have in town. I used to love the books as a kid, and even as an adult, I still do. However, there was this one odd day that I happened to find a rare copy of a book by Dr. Seuss. Now, I'm not sure if this was fake or was maybe someone claiming to be Dr. Seuss and wrote the book, trying to put a disturbing name by it, but here it goes, and I'm going to explain the best I can. Now, a chill blew for the old abandoned library in my hometown. I was 17 years old and my name is Sam. I cautiously made my way down to the dusty aisles. I had always been drawn to the airy and mysterious, seeking out into the unknown of every nook and cranny, only for explorers to do. Of course, I like to explore, so that was kind of why I'm the adventurous type. But this library in my hometown was different. It's said to be cursed, but I don't even know what it was cursed with. But the library unfortunately shut down when I was a child, probably maybe around 8 years old, due to the fact that it wasn't getting popular and that not a lot of people would come to the library. With the strange occurrences happening to anyone who dared enter the library, yet I couldn't resist the challenge. I had spent nearly weeks gathering the courage to finally explore this forbidden place in my hometown, and I finally had the guts to do so. As I rummaged through the endless shelves of books when I was inside the library, I came across an old and tattered volume. Its spine was barely holding on, and the cover was faded and worn due to the age. Curiosity getting the best out of me, I reached for the book and dusted off the layers of the grime that had covered it. To my surprise, the book was none other than a Dr. Seuss classic, Green Eggs and Ham. I couldn't resist but help but chuckle at the irony of finding a children's book in such a creepy place, but childhood memories flooded through my mind as I remembered this was one of my favorite books. Alongside with The Lorax, this one was definitely a pretty good one. However, as I was flipping through the pages, I realized that this was not an ordinary book, but the once was a mystical rhymes and colorful illustrations had been replaced with disturbing images and twisted verses. Green Eggs and Ham were now oozing with blood, which was kind of weird since I never expected that. And the furry creatures in the story, they had sinister grins plastered on their faces and eyes for some reason. Feeling the sense of unease, I quickly put the book back on the shelf, but before I could leave, the book opened on its own, and a voice echoed through the library. It was the voice of Sam's favorite childhood author, which is my name, by the way, Dr. Seuss. But this was a longer and jolly and cheerful voice than I remember. This was the voice filled with malice and darkness. Welcome, my dear reader. Do you like what I have done with my stories? I want to show you the true nature of my characters, the ones society that seem to be too twisted and too dark for children's books. The voice hissed at me. My heart raced as I gazed at the pages of the book. The characters were now mocking me. Their distorted faces seemed to be laughing at my fear. I tried to run, but the pages of the book began to turn on their own, trapping him within the twisted world. The once beloved Dr. Seuss had become a monster, and his creations were out for blood. I frantically flipped the pages of the book, looking for a way out. That's when he stumbled upon a page that seemed different from the rest. It was a page I had never been seen before, and this is the inscription that it read. Only the bravest of readers can escape from my cursed book. Will you be the one to defeat me? That was all it said. With that, Sam muttered all the courage he had and read the verse out loud. Suddenly the book began to shake and tremble, and a blinding light assumed the library. When it was cleared, Sam found himself back into his room, and the cursed book was nowhere to be found. From that day on, I never returned to that abandoned library. I realized that the stories that I read my darker side, it was up to us to see it. And as for the loss of Dr. Seuss book, it remains a mystery, just waiting for the next suspecting victim. I still wonder to this day why this book was just dark and twisted. I don't even think Dr. Seuss would actually write anything like this. Could it be like maybe it's just some sick prank from someone just to try to get some me to get really into it to try to ruin my childhood? I don't even know. Still to this day, it's been about 4 years since that happened. I still don't know if this book has ever existed. I always read the regular Green Eggs and Ham and never touched a bad, horrible story like that again. I don't even know who wrote the twisted version of Green Eggs and Ham. It's probably by some psycho or maybe someone trying to pull a prank. I wouldn't even know. And I still wouldn't know to this day, even if it has been a few years.